Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Cree LED Lighting. For the 104th time, South Carolina and Georgia meet on the hardwood, and the second time this season as the Bulldogs look to avenge an earlier loss to the Gamecocks. SEC standings brought to you by Hardee's. Georgia in the thick of things in the SEC race, one of 6 SEC teams currently slated for the NCAA tournament, according to our latest projections. In South Carolina trying to get out the basement. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Joe Dean Jr. It's been a great year for Mark Fox and his Georgia Bulldogs, trying to get back to the NCAA tournament, but they had a slip up against Auburn this weekend. They can't afford another one of those.
You're right, Tom. You can't lose to teams in the lower half of the SEC. South Carolina comes in here tonight 3-9. Georgia has to win this one tonight.
South Carolina's coming off of a tough loss to Kentucky, but Sindarius Thornwell was one of the Gamecocks who brought it with effort, and the results showed.
Yeah, 20 points in the game in Lexington. He is a tremendous player. 9 straight double-figure games. He's a point guard in a small forward's body. 6'5", can take it to the hole and make things happen on the dribble. Marcus Thornton is one of the most improved players in the SEC. 6'8" senior, can knock down the three. He is an enforcer in the paint for Mark Fox's Georgia Bulldogs.
Look at the numbers between Thornwell and Thornton, and the task got a little bit tougher for Thornwell and his teammates coming into tonight. Frank Martin this afternoon announced a season-long suspension of 2 of his players, Demetrius Henry as a 19-game starter, and Shameik Shepherd, a bench player who had appeared in 7 games, no longer Gamecocks. So they'll try to make do without those guys the rest of the way. Here's a look at the starters. Notice Thornwell and Johnson in the backcourt, Hakevicius and Carrera inside for Frank Martin and his South Carolina team. Meanwhile, for Georgia, they're without J.J. Frazier tonight. Out with an injury, a fractured orbital bone and a concussion. So head coach Mark Fox has had to deal with injuries all season long. He does it again tonight. He'll try to sneak Cameron Forte into the starting lineup to eat some of Frazier's minutes. But this is a Georgia team that doesn't have any depth in the backcourt. Mann, Gaines, and Forte may be asked to play nearly 40 minutes tonight. Thornton and Jurisic, the powers inside. We're ready to go from Stegman Coliseum. It'll be Thornton and Hakevicius. And Georgia controls the tip. Do everything. Charles Mann brings it up.
Mark Fox talked about South Carolina as one of the toughest man-to-man defensive teams in the league. Really get after you on the ball and deny the passing lanes as well as anybody in the league. And there you go. Denying the passing lanes, gets the 5-second count. Great start defensively for Frank Martin's team.
So South Carolina, as we mentioned, without Henry and Shepherd suspended the remainder of the season. Marcus Stroman just out of the hospital due to throat illness. He is still out. Jawan Parker, an Achilles injury, and J.J. Frazier, not just a concussion, but also a fractured orbital bone and a hairline fracture in his shooting hand. He took an elbow in the Auburn game this weekend. Hakevicius, with a size advantage inside, gets it to go.
The last 2 South Carolina games I've done, Tom, Hakevicius has scored in double figures both times. He's a 6'11" guy who can shoot the jump hook and make things happen down in the low post.
Thornton showing his range, left it short. And Jurisic is able to track down the rebound. Fresh 35 for a Georgia team, 10th in the league, averaging less than 70 points a game. Trying to find consistency offensively, Joe. We've talked about the injuries for Georgia this season. We've had to move a lot of guys around and play them at different spots. Jurisic with the ball fake made it a 2, and Hakevicius brings it down.
Both these teams are very good rebounding teams, but South Carolina was destroyed on the boards in Lexington Saturday, 45-21. We'll watch the rebounding totals tonight for both teams.
Tyrone Johnson trying to make something happen. South Carolina was destroyed everywhere in Lexington on Saturday. 77-43 was the final score. Frank Martin upset with the effort that his guys put through. He also took part of the blame. He said, my game plan was wrong. Carrera couldn't get the roll. Here's Forte getting the start today. Started a handful of games last season for Georgia.
Georgia trying to run some offense and get the ball down low to Marcus Thornton. The overplaying defense is just tenacious by the Gamecocks here.
Man guarded by Carrera. Got him in the air. Got past him, but still couldn't hit. And Georgia having a tough go of it here in the early going. 0 for 3 to start the game. Georgia making South Carolina work. Shot clock at 11. Tyrone Johnson out to notice. Now Thornwell lets it fly. And an offensive rebound for Carolina. 4th in the league in offensive rebound percentage. Another jump hook. And the same result for Hukevicius. He had 12 in their last matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And there you go. Hukevicius, 6'11", Lithuanian. When they do not double team him, he has the ability to put it on the floor and shoot the jump hook. And it's 6'11", very difficult to defend.
Georgia gets its first bucket, working it inside to Kenny Gaines.
Georgia likes to run a lot of cutters in the lane. That time Kenny Gaines found the opening and got the layup for the Bulldogs.
And Gaines with a swipe comes away with a steal. 3-on-2. Into the paint with the left hand. Two-man show. Gaines and Hukevicius have all of their team's points here in the first 4 minutes.
Both these teams are really good defensively, denying passing lanes, pressuring the ball, and playing straight man-to-man on the basketball, not allowing drives to the lane.
So Hukevicius guarded by Thornton. This time he kicks it out. And Johnson pays it off.
Best way to shoot the three is to go inside out. Take it inside, force the defense to sag down in the low post area, and then kick it back out. You got a great look at the rim, and Tyrone Johnson that time buried it for South Carolina.
South Carolina, not a great three-point shooting team this season, but their first one is good, and South Carolina has an early advantage, and a big advantage inside from the 6'11" Lithuanian. Lamonas and Hukevicius backing down Thornton and going to work in the paint.
Like a child, this Cree LED bulb could be in your house for decades. Unlike a child, it'll pay for itself and spend its life saving you money. And it will never pierce its tongue.
The Cree LED bulb.
Shelter Insurance has covered a lot of miles and a lot of cars and drivers since 1946. We like knowing we have you covered, so you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Every day brings something new at HoteLook.com. And no matter what day of the week, we've got you covered. Check out the latest looks at the touch of your fingertips and get it all delivered right to your door. Find the right style for any situation at HoteLook.
Stay 2 separate times and choose your reward. Plus, always enjoy breakfast and free high-speed internet when you stay at Best Western, Best Western Plus, or Best Western Premier. Book now at bestwestern.com.
SEC Network Basketball is presented by Cree LED Lighting. Welcome back to Athens, where South Carolina has an early lead on Georgia. Their defense obvious here early on, and Frank Martin has found that point of pride in their improvement this season. 36th in the country in defensive efficiency, and what a marked improvement on the defensive end.
Well, the numbers don't lie right there. And coming out of December, South Carolina was 9-3. They had just beaten Oklahoma State by 26, Clemson by 23, and beat number 9 Iowa State on a neutral court in Brooklyn, New York. Right out of the gate, Florida comes to Columbia and beats the Gamecocks. And to be honest, Tom, they just haven't been the same since.
this 3-9 SEC record is misleading when you see them play. I mean, they've got the pieces. Mindaugas Kaitsanis is in the game now. Hakevicius has 6 here early on. I mean, that's one big piece. Laimonas Hakevicius has 6 points already. He's only averaging 8 this season.
I tell you, I'm his good luck charm. Every time I'm here at one of his games, he lights it up. I mean, that was a big-time drop step, baseline spin right around the senior Marcus Thornton for Hakevicius.
And he was in there to challenge the shot.
I think the key for Hakevicius is playing with a sense of urgency and fire is what Frank Martin wants to see from him every night.
First time on the opposite block for Hakevicius, and he quickly gave it up.
Working hard in there.
Another 3, this one from Duane Notice.
Duane Notice lit it up for an 8-game stretch back in December into early January, but since that time, he's only shooting about 25% from 3. Good start for Duane Notice tonight on the road.
Georgia quickly falling into a hole as Sindarius Thornwell commits his first personal foul.
Yeah, you see Duane Notice gets a little down screen, nothing fancy on the motion offense. Squares the shoulders, young man who needs to shoot the ball well. He and Tyrone Johnson each have 3s early in this game, and that's a good sign for the Gamecocks tonight if they're going to go on the road and beat a good Georgia team. Oh, by the way, they beat Georgia a couple of weeks ago in Columbia, did South Carolina, so they know they can do it. But, of course, Marcus Thornton was not on the Georgia line in the Georgia lineup that night.
Taylor Eccles into the game for Georgia. He's a 3-point specialist, former walk-on. Brian Steele on the floor for Carolina. And Carrera back on the floor, pulls down the rebound. First touch for Steele. South Carolina on an 8-0 run. They had made 4 consecutive field goals before that miss from deep. Kenny Gaines into traffic. And Kaitsanis has it, and we get a reach in on Georgia. It'll be on Jurisic. Wednesday, 2 of the SEC's hottest shooting teams go head-to-head as the Vanderbilt Commodores head to the O-Dome to take on the Gators at 7. Then Missouri heads down south to take on the high-octane Razorbacks at 9. SEC Hoops doubleheader begins at 7 p.m. exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network, and watch ESPN. Looked like the Gamecocks fouled each other on that one, and Jurisic comes out of there with a personal foul against him.
Yeah, you saw the 6 SEC teams that Joe Lunardi currently has in the NCAA field. 2 of those, LSU and Texas A&M, play tonight in College Station. They will follow our game here on the SEC Network.
A couple of misses for South Carolina after hitting their first 2 threes. Georgia's gone a little bit deeper into the lineup, too. Kenny Paulgino is on the floor for the first time since breaking his wrist against Arkansas. So Mark Fox already concerned for him, his depth, and he's already gone as deep as he can into his bench to try and save some minutes late.
Yeah, we asked him who are the backups to Manning Gaines, and he said, I really don't have any, but he's going to get Taylor Eccles in and try to give those guys a little breather.
Oh, my. We got a technical foul on Jurisic. He just committed his 2nd personal. That'll be his 3rd. And the Georgia big man will have to sit with 12:56. He wasn't happy with the last personal foul a moment ago, and he wasn't happy with that one. You can't throw the ball back to the official like that.
You can't do that. And Jeff Anderson had warned Jurisic the play before at the other end. And you see right here, there's a push-off. That's an easy call for the official. Jurisic didn't like it. Got teed up. He had been warned the play before. Jeff Anderson, the official, had no choice but to call the tee right there on Nimi Jurisic.
So Tyrone Johnson will have another free throw. It will be South Carolina basketball. He hits them both, and this is, we said at the very beginning, the Auburn game, Georgia was hoping was an anomaly. They did not shoot the ball well in the first half. Auburn finished on a 21-11 run. This is a Georgia team right now that's in the NCAA tournament. Back-to-back losses like this could be killer.
It would be devastating, Tom. If they lost back-to-back to Auburn and South Carolina on their home floors, it would really hurt their chances of getting to the NCAAs.
So Georgia needs to find some answers. Carrera out to steal for three. And Thornton rips it down. He may be the key for Georgia. We got a foul after the rebound. It will be Michael Carrera, his first.
Both teams very physical. You've got two coaches who emphasize defense. And Carrera with the little push-off right there against Eccles. An easy call. The officials are going to probably start watching a little bit closer, calling it a little bit tighter. The game already early on is very physical, and they don't want this to get out of hand.
Charles Mann has yet to score. Marcus Thornton has yet to score. Georgia held to just 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting to start this game. They started the Auburn game 1 for 7 from the floor.
Nowhere to throw the ball. Great job overplaying passing lanes. South Carolina does that as well as anybody in this league.
Mann left it short. Notice will come up with it. Fast break opportunity for Carolina. Here comes Taylor Eccles. He hadn't shot a 2 all season, only 3s.
That's amazing.
And we're going to foul on the denial. Will be the first on Kaitchanis. South Carolina was suffocating. Defense has held Georgia to 22% shooting. 10-point lead for the Cox.
Man, I want something sweet without all the calories.
Little sweet. Did someone ask for the sweet, no-cal sweetness of Diet Dr. Pepper?
That was me.
Just take a sip. Oh!
Oh, that is sweet.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah.
Do you work here?
No, Little Sweet is self-employed.
That's awesome.
Little Sweet sliding out on his knees.
He's hot.
I'm thirsty too.
Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the sweet one.
Dad, like, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through, this is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee.
Really?
Their claim experience is...
Fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, like, money back.
Sarah! Come to prom with me!
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
I really think we need a new fax machine.
Did you use eFax?
What's that, Ned?
You send and receive faxes right from your computer, tablet, or phone. Come on, guys. It's not the 80s anymore.
eFax is as easy as email. Simply snap a photo of your document and fax it. That's the power of eFax.
How do you send a fax from a phone?
eFax. Faxing simplified. Go to efaxtv.com and start your free trial today.
Let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Lamonas Hakevicius has an assortment of moves in the low post. Watch the sky hook over Marcus Thornton. Watch the baseline move. Yep. A little misdirection off the banking board. 3 buckets early for the big Lithuanian Hakevicius, doing a nice job inside for the Gamecocks.
It's a 10-0 run for South Carolina, and this is a Georgia team with a ton on the line tonight, as it was against Auburn this weekend. Take a look at their tournament resume. 16-8 overall, a BPI of 25, an RPI of 30. Great strength of schedule. In fact, the BPI strength of schedule has it 4th best in the country. Good wins for sure, including some out of conference.
Yeah,
the losses at Georgia Tech, not a tournament team, at South Carolina, and Auburn.
Yeah, they've got some good out-of-conference wins over Colorado. They won at Kansas State, a team who beat Oklahoma recently, and they beat Seton Hall. Seton Hall is one of only 2 teams that has knocked off Villanova this year. So Georgia's overall body of work very strong. That Auburn loss Saturday, damaging. Can't afford one here tonight.
And Joe, they've got to go on the road for their next 2.
Yeah, against 2 good teams. Ole Miss very underrated. Alabama always tough in Tuscaloosa.
Gamecocks go zone after that overplaying man-to-man defense was so effective. And everything they're doing is working. 2 for 10 start from the field for Georgia.
Georgia only 1 offensive rebound so far. South Carolina's done a much better job blocking off the defensive boards and holding Georgia to only 1 shot.
Thornwell has yet to score. He gives him 12 a game, and that's a 3. Dwayne Notice with his 2nd triple. South Carolina with 17 points in the first 9 minutes. This is A team that scores 66 points a game.
And when they were beating the likes of Oklahoma State, Clemson, and Iowa State, Notice was putting up big numbers. If he shoots it well here tonight, South Carolina has a chance.
Another turnover taken away by Notice. Dwayne Notice with a bump, and he'll get a trip to the line. It's a first personal on Charles Mann.
Well, Dwayne Notice has got 2 of these right now from deep. He plays a little string music in Athens, GA.
Now Notice to the free throw line, 75% from the line this season. That 3 was a long time coming. He'd been struggling over the last 4 games from behind the arc. He's got 7 here early. Taylor Eccles returns for Georgia. Thornton has taken a seat. Forte, who got a start, has taken a seat. Jurisic has 3 personal fouls. We won't see. So Mark Fox depth issues have come to in this game already. 8 of the 19 for South Carolina belong to Dwayne Notice. Houston Kessler now on the floor for Georgia. They got the start at Kentucky. Played a good game against the Cats. And Yante Mayton hits his first attempt.
Yante Mayton, a big freshman that Mark Fox really likes.
Carrera answers with the triple.
Mark Fox wants to talk about it. His defense is not getting out quickly on the shooters, closing out and contesting tough. Too many easy looks given up by this Georgia defense.
South Carolina, dead last in the league, 3-point percentage, less than 29. Yet tonight, Joe, they've hit 4 of 9 from deep.
Yeah, they've not been shooting the ball that well from 3 in SEC games. South Carolina is only making right at 27%. So when they shoot the ball well, coupled with their outstanding defense, South Carolina can be good.
Friday, the SEC ESPN Network brings you live women's college gymnastics action. First up, the 6th-ranked Crimson Tide will be in town to take on number 8, Georgia. Then 9th-ranked Auburn takes on Missouri at 9, exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and Watch ESPN. Georgia is 3 for 11 to start this game, and now a trap at midcourt.
A little half-court trapping defense out of the timeout. Switch by Frank Martin. I like the change.
Corner 3 from Kessler. Didn't hit the rim.
South Carolina really looks sharp tonight. Into the game, rebounding the ball. Defense has been tremendous. And as you mentioned, Tom, shooting the ball extremely well. Change for Georgia out of the timeout. 2-3 zone.
Shot clock at 5. Whoa, tough shot. Notice has 10. 1 less than his season average, and we're midway through the first half. Joe, folks are going to see this score come across their bottom line and wondering what's happening in Athens, and there's a lot of bubble teams that wouldn't mind seeing this one continue as it's going.
And they should wonder. Johnson and Notice in particular are guys who have not shot the ball well at all in SEC play. And in the non-conference, Dwayne Notice had 20 points against Oklahoma State, 19 against Clemson, 15 against Iowa State. Once they got into SEC play, his numbers went south. And tonight already with 10 points in this game, if he and Johnson shoot the ball well and they defend and rebound the way they're capable, South Carolina is much better than their 3-9 record.
Kenny Gaines has 6 of Georgia's 8 points. At last foul is on Brian Steele.
This is a 1-2-2 zone. Kenny Gaines is at the point. Always the trick in the zone is can you rebound out of the zone.
Not a great entry pass. Ends up in Mayton's hands.
Notice has done a great job on Charles Mann so far, not allowing Mann to get to the lane on the dribble. Mann leads the SEC in free throws attempted. Very aggressive with the ball.
One of the best in the nation. He has yet to get there tonight. Guarded by Carrera now. Carrera fouled him after the shot. That's a 19-foot and 1. It's a second personal on Carrera.
Carrera has to know better than that. Charles Mann is the best in the league at drawing fouls. You cannot leave your feet when he goes up. You must stay on the floor. Keep your hands straight up. That's being sound defensively. Carrera was not that time, and Charles Mann, as a result, is on the line.
This is a Georgia team which is 5th in the nation in free throw rate. They go to the free throw line once for every 2 field goals that they attempt. Hadn't been the case yet tonight, but it's really the secret to their success, and Mann's their leader.
Well, you know, when Georgia played in Columbia a few weeks ago, they only scored 11 field goals in the whole game, but they went to the foul line 32 times in that game. Still got beat 17. South Carolina, they may just have Georgia's number. We'll see.
Well, they held Georgia that day to a season low in points and the lowest field goal percentage of the season, just 22%. 67-50 victory for South Carolina, one of their 3 conference wins. Mann for 3. Wide right. Gino with the feed to Matten, who gets fouled. It's the first on Hakevicius. 7:47 to go in the first half. Dwayne Otis and South Carolina on a roll.
Move by Dwayne Notice. It is all going right. Got to fire. And he hits it.
Anything? No. You?
No.
Affleck! What are you guys looking for?
Claims. Legend has it these hills are full of them.
It can take months for an insurance claim to surface.
Claiming takes patience.
Affleck paid my claim in 1 day.
Ooh, they got some newfangled kind of one-day pay machine.
Yeah, I got Affleck at work.
Affleck.
In just 1 day, we approve and pay. 1 day pay, only from Affleck.
Affleck.
Wednesday night. Vanderbilt takes on Florida in the O-Dome.
Rebound Gators. Chioza. Yes!
Then Missouri heads to Fayetteville to take on number 18 Arkansas.
Shot blocked by Harris.
Another shot blocked by Kingsley. The feeding frenzy underway.
Vanderbilt, Florida at 7. Missouri, Arkansas at 9. Presented by PNC. Wednesday only on the SEC ESPN Network.
Attention, Dish customers. Do you live in a small town or even out in the country? Now you can finally get fast, high-speed internet where you live with DishNet.
For the first time, I can check my emails, even from out here.
And I can do my homework online right here.
I can get all the parts I need online, even way out here.
With DishNet high-speed internet, you can get speeds as fast as 4G where you live. It's the high-speed internet you've been waiting for.
Now I can see my grandkids anytime online from way out here. It's the high-speed internet I've been waiting for.
And right now, if you bundle DishNet with your Dish TV service, you'll save an extra $10 a month.
I have a bundle, and I love the convenience of saving time and money.
You already get the great value of Dish TV, so call now to bundle with DishNet high-speed internet, all on one convenient bill. Get the high-speed internet you've been waiting for where you live.
We live out in the middle of nowhere, and DishNet is the high-speed internet we've been waiting for.
Call the number on your screen now to save $10 per month and get high-speed internet where you live with DishNet.
24-11, South Carolina leads Georgia, and they put the Bulldogs on notice here early.
Well, Dwayne Notice is 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 at the line, 10 points. He's knocking down threes, very capable, average about 15 points a game in the non-conference. He's dropped off in SEC play, but he has found his range tonight, wearing it out for the Gamecocks. He's the story so far in this game.
Meanwhile, Georgia is a man short with J.J. Frazier injured, fractured orbital bone and a concussion, along with a hairline fracture in his shooting hand. They really miss his offensive influence tonight.
Well, there's no question about it. Georgia has 5 double-figure scores in the lineup. Frazier is sitting out with his 10 points a game and the leading three-point percentage shooter on the Georgia team at 42. So big loss tonight for the Bulldogs not having J.J. Frazier.
Dante Mayton at the free throw line. Remember, Frazier had that 37-point outburst against Mississippi State, the highest individual scoring game in the SEC this year. He hit 7 threes against the Bulldogs.
Dante Mayton, the 6'8", 240-pound freshman, Pontiac, Michigan. 35 blocks on the year. Mark Fox really likes this young man. Big and strong. That's good shooting touch. A lot of upside for the freshman.
Hot start for South Carolina. 50% shooting in the first 12.5 minutes.
Georgia's going to stay zone and see if South Carolina can continue to make outside shots. Again, rebounding out of the zone is always a challenge.
Here's Notice, cut off. Thornwell has yet to score. He gave him 20 against Kentucky and nothing tonight. Shot clock at 3. Back to Johnson. Got it at the shot clock buzzer. Where did this South Carolina team come from? They can't miss from deep, it seems.
Already, that is 5 3-point shots early in this first half. South Carolina hasn't done that in quite a while.
South Carolina's doing everything right tonight. Sensational defense. They worked it inside early. The shots falling from deep as of late. And a foul on Thornton, who's been held out of the scoring column to this point.
Good job by Thornton to get himself to the line. But I just love the help defense by the Gamecocks. That time, Kevin just got beat on the drive by Thornton, and Thornwell was standing there waiting on him in the help position.
That was his second personal on Kaitchenis. Marcus Thornton, the senior from Atlanta, has another free throw coming. You know, Marcus Thornton suffered an injury with a concussion a while ago as man returns. And Mark Fox says, you know, sometimes it takes guys a little while to get back into their form after concussions. He has yet to reach double figures since his concussion. He was in double figures 16 times in the first 19 games.
Yeah, Mark Fox was very concerned about that at the shoot-around today. Just said he just hasn't been able to get back to where he was before the concussions when he was out. They take him a couple more games. We'll see. He's certainly a very valuable part of this team, the leading scorer and rebounder for the Georgia Bulldogs.
And part of that, Joe, and it's great for players that we're paying more attention to head injuries these days as Notice commits his first personal. But you're so limited when you suffer concussion. You can't do anything physically until you get cleared.
10 days, Tom, he was doing nothing. Couldn't run, couldn't catch a ball, couldn't do anything for 10 days until he got cleared by the doctors. And you just can't lose that much practice time and come back sharp.
Here's Gaines wanting a screen from Thornton. Goes the other way. Kaitchenis is playing with 2 fouls. Thornton lost his dribble, and Georgia turns it over.
And again, the South Carolina defense, tough on the ball, not allowing penetration around the defenders, very solid, helping out each other and rebounding the basketball.
4 turnovers tonight for Mark Fox's team. Looking to take Georgia to the NCAA tournament for the second time in his 10 years as head man. Wow, quick release for Kaitchenis. That one just kind of flew out of his hands and over the defender.
And anytime you can get the ball into the heart of the zone like that and shoot a jump hook, you've done a nice job.
Georgia couldn't finish the lob, but then a foul on Mayton will be his first.
Georgia just looks out of sync, Tom. They can't do anything offensively, no rhythm at all in their offense. Defense has struggled as well, giving up a lot of easy looks for South Carolina.
Mark Fox has a lot of versatile players, but he told us today that one of the hang-ups from all of these injuries is putting guys in different positions. Could that be to blame tonight, that you've had guys that you've moved around from different spots?
Well, I think absolutely. I mean, you know, Cameron Forte is playing tonight in place of J.J. Frazier. He is basically a forward and having to play out on the perimeter. So that's not really his forte. no pun intended.
South Carolina has made 5 of its last 6 field goal attempts. Single digits on the shot clock again. Thornwell behind Hakevicius. And Thornton with the board. Here comes Mann.
This is where Mann is tough right here. Mann loves to drive it in transition and get to the free throw line.
Thornton's only taken 1 shot tonight. His only points came from the free throw line.
South Carolina's keeping the ball off of him. Kaitchenis denying him all over the floor right now.
Wow. Georgia off the mark again. Good ball movement. And it pays off with another Tyrone Johnson three. It's his third of the half. He's got 11. And another timeout taken. 32-13 is the lead. What are the options for Mark Fox?
This is a total shock, but the ball movement from side to side, 3 passes, takes it from one side to the other. Tyrone Johnson, the beneficiary, shooting it extremely well. His third 3 of the game. He and Notice lighting it up here in Athens.
He had missed each of his last 6 threes over the previous 3 games for Tyrone Johnson. And tonight he's hit 3 of 4. SEC Women's Basketball doubleheader presented by Dr. Pepper Thursday on the SEC ESPN Network. The Vanderbilt Commodores take on a tough Florida Gators defense live from the O-Dome at 7. Then the South Carolina Gamecocks look to remain a title contender against the Arkansas Razorbacks at 9 p.m. exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and Watch ESPN. 5 women's teams ranked in the top 25, and they're all bunched at the top. Tennessee lost its best player and perhaps the #1 pick in the WNBA draft to a torn ACL. Have to deal with injury going forward.
Huge game next Monday night in Columbia, South Carolina, Tennessee. And the Lady Gamecocks will battle.
Even when Georgia gets some space, they're just unable to take advantage of it.
South Carolina does a great job collapsing on the ball, seeking the level of the ball, shutting down the drives, and swarming the basketball when it gets near the goal. Very well taught by Frank Martin and staff.
Another Georgia turnover. 4 minutes to go in the first half, all South Carolina. SEC Network Basketball is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state.
Dad, like, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through, this is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee.
Really?
Their claim experience is...
Fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, like, money back.
Sarah! Come to prom with me!
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Doug and Casey are headed to the beach. Forgetting to deposit a check could have put their plans on hold. But Regions is helping Doug greenlight this moment of spontaneity by letting him choose immediate access to money from a check he's depositing in a snap. Regions Mobile Deposit lets you skip a trip to the bank and give life the green light. Ready to move your life forward? Switch to Regions.
What do you call a renowned researcher on obesity, hypertension, and heart disease who teaches the next generation of leading scientists? We call him a difference maker. Meet Ole Miss professor John Hall, a difference maker named the 2014 SEC Professor of the Year. The Southeastern Conference actively supports the university mission through its SECU program, which highlights collaboration in scholarship and research. SECU, the academic initiative of the Southeastern Conference.
All right, coming up on the SEC Halftime Report, Will Purdue and I will break down the first half of, frankly, shocking game right now in Athens.
Well, you're talking about a team that lost to 34 to Kentucky over the weekend. Frank Martin kicks 2 players off the team. These guys are focused and ready to play tonight.
Well, ready to play. The #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats are in action, and a big loss for the Lady Vols. But first, back to Tom and Joe in Athens.
Peter, thanks. Hope you guys are staying safe up in Charlotte. Beautiful drive into the Classic City with some melting ice on the trees.
Beautiful. It was.
As long as the roadways are clear, I'm fine. The ice belongs in the glass, not on the roads. 32-13 is the lead. Notice and Johnson 6 of 8 from the floor. A lot of their damage from behind the arc. They're 5 and 6 combined.
Yeah, Notice and Johnson 5 for 6 from 3. They came into the game. Johnson came into the game 3 of his last 23. Notice came into the game 5 of his last 24. So, again, their shooting tonight, surprisingly, is the reason South Carolina is playing so well, along with outstanding man-to-man defense.
Hey, sometimes this happens in conference play, right? You've already faced each other once. One team has had a tough season, looking for goals to play for. They know each other well. South Carolina knows what it can do against Georgia.
No question. It has confidence with the 17-point win earlier in Columbia. They know they can beat this team.
Charles Mann with his 12th three of the season, first of the game.
And let's face it, Georgia has just been decimated with injuries and not having Frazier tonight. It's been hard for Mark Fox to practice, have competitive practices, and as you mentioned, Tom, moving guys around from one position to another has been disconcerting for this team.
Thornwell walked with it. South Carolina has 34 points here, and Sindarius Thornwell, their leading scorer, has yet to score.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would have never thought that you would see an 18-point Gamecock lead with Thornwell not being part of that. Maybe he's saving it for the second half.
Man and one. And it's a second on Hakevicius. Back-to-back buckets for Charles Mann, trying to get three the old-fashioned way.
This is what he does as well as anybody in the league. Get in the lane. He's 6'4", very strong, and knows how to draw contact and get to the lane. Last year, got to the foul line 278 times. That led the SEC. This year, over 170 attempts already on the season for Charles Mann.
He had 14 points in their previous matchup. He's got 9 here tonight thanks to a late flurry. Thornton just leaning on Hakevicius inside. Thornwell drew the foul.
That's a mismatch right there, and South Carolina recognized it, ran some offense to the left side of the floor and reversed it, and they had isolated on number 11, Cameron Forte, and Darius Thornwell, much too crafty with the balls. I mentioned in the open, a point guard in a 6'5" small forward's body.
And so Thornton came over to help, and he picks up the foul, his first. Thornwell has another free throw on the way. So Darius Thornwell has led South Carolina scoring in each of the last 4 games. He had 20 against Kentucky as Hakevicius sits with 2.
Thornwell not only made the All-SEC freshman team last year, but the All-SEC academic honor roll as well. Always like to point that out.
He has started every game in his career as a Gamecock. The Lancaster, South Carolina native, gains. Forte now. And he powers it in for his first bucket in his first start of the season.
Good job by the junior college transfer, Cameron Forte. On the weak side backboard, muscled it in on the glass.
Thornwell beat Forte to the baseline. Kessler has it taken away. Thornwell fading away off the glass.
They ran the same play to the other side of the floor where they reversed it to Thornwell and had him isolated one-on-one against Forte. He didn't make the initial shot, but they got the ball back and he laid it in.
Here's Mann again. Here we go, the 2 stars heating up. Mann suddenly has 11.
And Georgia's starting to get some rhythm on the offensive end.
Notice gets a whistle, and he'll go to the free throw line with 59. Parmy committed the foul, so an offensive foul on Notice is his second personal foul.
Yeah, good job of keeping the ball alive by South Carolina. And Thornwell with a nice move, fading away, and then Charles Mann does this as well as anybody, gets in the lane, the little runner, the deuce for the Dogs.
Thornton still can't hit. And he can't find the rebound, falling down.
Now, Thornton had a smaller defender on his back right there, Sindarius Thornwell, 6'8" over 6'5", but Thornton did not use the backboard, tried to shoot it right to the rim, and what happened? Hit the back of the iron and kicked out.
South Carolina uses a timeout. There's a 5.5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock as Frank Martin draws something up in what could be the final possession. Let's take a look at our defensive spotlight, brought to you by Shelter Insurance.
Well, it was right off the tip. South Carolina pressuring the basketball. Watch the black shirts in the passing lane. There is nowhere for the Georgia offense to throw the basketball. First play right out the gate. Here comes Jurisic to catch it. The black shirts play the passing lane. Total denial. There's a 5-second count. Nowhere to pass it. And the official gets the 5-second call. Turnover for the Georgia Bulldogs. Great defense by South Carolina.
Rare enough to see a 5-second call. For it to happen on the opening possession is a good indicator of just how dialed in South Carolina was at the outset.
Kind of set the tone, really, for this entire first half. Carolina has played so well here.
South Carolina, a great offensive rebounding team as they wait to get the last shot off. Shot clock now at 6. Thornwell kicks. Kaichenis for 3. Whoa! Bendagas Kaichenis with 3. Georgia at, well, that was way early. South Carolina still had a chance. Georgia out of sorts this entire half. And South Carolina red hot. Dwayne Notice has a dozen. South Carolina has hit 7 of 13 from deep. And it's a 41-23 lead. Now let's take it to Peter Burns in the SEC studio. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Cree LED Lighting. South Carolina doing it again to Georgia, trying to sweep the season series up 41-23. Tom Hart alongside Joe Dean Jr. This is a South Carolina team. It looks like they did back in December when they're piling up all those big non-conference wins.
Yeah, 3 big keys. 7 for 13 from three-point land, wearing it out. And they're out-rebounding Georgia 16-11. They were out-rebounded by 9 in Columbia, and they've kept the Dogs off the foul line. Only 8 free throw attempts. Georgia goes an average of 25 a game.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights, and there's a ton of them for South Carolina. It really started with their defense and then post-play.
Yeah, the defense, but they got it down low to Hakavage just 3 times early, and he delivered. But the story of the half is Dwayne Notice and Tyrone Johnson knocking down 5 out of 6 from three-point range. When those 2 guys shoot the ball, there's Johnson there to go along with the great South Carolina defense. The Gamecocks are a very formidable team, as we are seeing here tonight in Athens, Georgia. Charles Mann for the Bulldogs got the offense on track. He gets to the line quite a bit, uses his dribble so well, 6'4" strong. The running jumper, you see the stats.
They're just shutting Georgia down in the half court. 33% shooting for the Bulldogs. The South Carolina team did it to them in their first meeting. They held them to 22% shooting, but the secret in that game, even though Georgia lost, they did get some points from the free throw line. That hasn't been the case yet tonight.
And you know that was a point of emphasis by Frank Martin coming into tonight's game. Keep Georgia off the foul line. So far, only 8 attempts for the Bulldogs. That is a win in the first half for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Georgia averages nearly 25 free throw attempts per game, tied with Auburn for tops in the league. Notice took a bump, got the shot off, and here comes Georgia. Kenny Gaines out to Forte, getting the start again in the second half, and he hangs and hits.
What do you need to do when your offense is struggling? Play some transition, full court basketball. Get it down, outrun the defense, and lay it off the glass.
South Carolina led at one point by 21 in the first half. Tyrone Johnson working on Thornton. It's got to be another mismatch. Now Thornton gets back inside on Hakevicius. Here's Carrera on man. Faces him up and hits.
Carrera was an all-SEC freshman. had somewhat of an off year last year as a sophomore, but this year as a junior, he's still a guy at 6'5" who's athletic, brings a lot of energy, and as we just saw, can shoot the little baby jump shot from about 15. South Carolina in the zone now. They're going to basically just trying to slow Georgia down a little bit. They're on the road, save themselves a bit on the defensive end. But you can't foul.
It's on Thornwell, and it's his second personal foul. Yeah, I'm anxious to see what Georgia does in the half court. We saw him get a transition bucket. What's most important for them offensively in the half court?
Hadn't gotten the ball to Marcus Thornton hardly at all. Defensively, South Carolina has shut him down. Certainly man and Gaines. Gaines hasn't done much either. So the three key players have got to step up and be productive in the second half against this zone defense.
Thornton only has 2 field goal attempts tonight. Man finds him, but he misses again. And a wrestle for the rebound.
Good control right there on the break. South Carolina didn't have anything and didn't try to force it.
Gino able to track down the miss. Gaines hits. First 3 for Gaines.
Like Thornton and Johnson for South Carolina, Kenny Gaines needs to be a key perimeter scorer in the second half for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Notice, nobody picked him up. Gino able to bring down the rebound. Kenny Paul Gino still playing with that left wrist, heavily taped. Injured it in the first game of the SEC season against Arkansas. And he's bringing Mark Fox some much-needed production off the bench.
That would be KGP, right?
Or KPG, we call him whatever.
That's right.
He'll answer as long as he gets playing time. Man lost it, picked it back up. Georgia wouldn't mind if this one was a little sloppy. To allow the Dogs to get back into it. Forte's second bucket of the second half.
And all of a sudden, Georgia pounding the offensive glass, much the way they did at South Carolina earlier.
Hakevich is fouled by whom? It's on Thornton. It's his second. The lead is 13.
Yeah, we mentioned these two teams are very good defensively and rebounding the ball. Georgia only gives up just over 8 second chance points. That leads the SEC. Very good rebounding team. Mark Fox, great job coaching that area of the game.
71.5 their defensive rebound percentage. That's the percentage of defensive rebounds they pull down, leading the league. Slow start for South Carolina. Second half, just 1 for 4. Got a man in the air, but walked before that.
Well, the idea was good. Thornwell drove it to the lane and wanted to jump stop and pump fake. Had he been able to hold his ground with his feet on the floor, he would have drawn a foul that time. But shuffle the puppies, and it goes the other way.
Jurisic hits. Remember, he sat for a good chunk of the first half. He hits the 3 to make it a 10-point game. And Georgia playing with some emotion now.
Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, Arkansas. Wednesday on the SEC ESPN Network.
Anything?
Nope. You?
No.
What are you guys looking for?
Claims.
Legend has it these hills are full of them.
It can take months for an insurance claim to surface.
Claiming takes patience.
Aflac paid my claim in 1 day.
Ooh, they got some newfangled kind of one-day pay machine.
Yeah, I got Aflac at work.
Aflac.
In just 1 day, we approve and pay. 1 day pay, only from Aflac.
Aflac.
I want something sweet without all the calories.
Little sweet.
Did someone ask for the sweet, no-cal sweetness of Diet Dr. Pepper?
That was me.
Just take a sip. Oh!
Oh, that is sweet.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah. Do you work here?
No, Little Sweet is self-employed.
That's awesome.
Little Sweet sliding out on his knees.
He's hot. I'm thirsty, too.
Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the sweet one.
Every day brings something new at HoteLook.com. The best styles at the touch of your fingertips. And get it all delivered right to your door. From your best days to your rest days. Find it at HoteLook.
Stay 2 separate times and choose your reward. Plus, always enjoy breakfast and free high-speed internet when you stay at Best Western, Best Western Plus, or Best Western Premier. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Let's take a look at Playing with Style, brought to you by Belt.
The three-point shooting for South Carolina, Michael Carrera got it started for the Gamecocks with the energy, and then the penetration kick out. Dwayne Notice, he's made 3 in the first half. And not to be outdone, the transfer from Villanova, Tyrone Johnson also has made a couple, 5 out of 6 from Notice and Johnson in that first half. There you go, 23 points total. Great shooting. And again, with the great defense that South Carolina plays, when the offense comes to play and makes shots, they're a tough out.
And they've each eclipsed their season scoring average already, but Carolina in a drought. They haven't scored in the last 3-10. They've missed each of their last 4 shots. Remember, Carrera hit that face-up jumper to start the half for South Carolina, and nothing since. Kevich just likes it on that block. And he gets challenged by Thornton, who commits his 3rd personal foul. 15-15 to go. Georgia coming back, down by 10.
Dad, like, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through, this is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee.
Really?
Their claim experience is...
Fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, like, money back.
Sarah! Come to prom with me!
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Yeah, we're on vacation next month. My family churns through all sorts of data.
Well, now we have mobile share value plans with rollover data, so the data you don't use this month rolls over to the next.
Sounds great. But what's your angle?
I don't think I have any angles.
Hardball, huh? Look, if you want me in on this, I want a piece of the action.
Oh, well, you get the rollover data automatically, so you're already in on the action.
Deal.
You should negotiate more stuff. You're pretty good at it.
Now get 3 lines for $120 a month with rollover data to share.
I need fans put up. I need lights put up. Who's going to do that?
Now there's HomeAdvisor.com, a free service that matches your home project with top local service professionals.
We got everything from Home Advisor. Electricians, plumbers, handymen.
You get to read the customer reviews of all of your neighbors.
And you know that the companies that are on there have already been screened, and so you already have that confidence going in.
And Home Advisor is always free. Go to HomeAdvisor.com now.
Home Advisor. Georgia's outscored Carolina 10-2 in the second half to climb back in this one as Super Tuesday continues from Athens. Tonight at 11 p.m. on SEC ESPN Network, join our analysts as they discuss all the SEC news of the day on SEC Now. Also available on Watch ESPN. Peter Burns busy with highlights tonight. And you've been busy compiling your Dean's List.
Yes, I have. Tom Hart, Marcus Thornton, who's in this game tonight for Georgia, has just been phenomenal, leading the Dogs in scoring and rebounding. Damian Jones in the top 10 in scoring and rebounding for Vanderbilt. I love Tim Quarterman at LSU. He has really developed into an outstanding 6'6" point guard. Levi Randolph having a great senior year for Alabama. And Gavin Ware has just played tremendous this year for Rick Ray at Mississippi State, one of the top rebounders in the league. That's 5 guys that are most improved this year in the league from a year ago.
Marcus Thornton has had a great season as he talks to Philip Pearson, Georgia assistant coach. But a slow night tonight as he picks up his 3rd. And Lamonas Hakevicius goes to the free throw line. So both bigs, Hakevicius and Thornton and Jurisic in foul trouble for Georgia, each with 3.
You like to see guys improve, as I just mentioned. Hakevich has 4 points, 4 rebounds last year as a freshman. This year, up to 8 and 5, so making progress. 6'11", assortment of moves, could be as good as he wants to be and as hard as he wants to work to become a great big man.
Nice touch from the free throw line. Matten back into the game for Georgia. Pardon me, Maton. Gaines to man.
South Carolina half-court zone trap back to a 1-2-2 zone. Thornwell at 6'5" is on the point.
Maton got fouled by Thornwell. It's the 3rd on Sindarius Thornwell. So some of the key players in this game in terms of scoring have each found themselves in foul troubles. Thornwell with 3, Thornton and Jurisic with 3. And it puts Yante Maton to the free throw line. The Michigan native was the Gatorade Player of the Year last year at Bloomfield Hills High School. 20 points a game, 15 boards, 6.5 blocks, 5 assists. And they play some serious high school basketball in the Detroit area.
They do. He averaged 5 assists last year in high school, right?
Yep.
He has 5 assists on the whole season this year in the SEC. A little different. But he's an outstanding big man with a great upside for Mark Fox's team.
Yeah, you wonder how Mark Fox stole him out of the Big Ten.
Wanted to come south and get out of the snow, I think.
Yeah, and he's welcomed with an ice storm. That's just not fair. Here's Notice. Left it a little bit short. Hakevich just couldn't follow. He thought he was fouled. Jurisic tees it up again. Maton? No. Carrera kept his pivot foot down. The left foot never left the ground. Great defense by Georgia.
Jurisic held his ground nicely on the jump hook by Hakevichus.
Taylor Eccles. Oh, he does his shoot threes, and he hits his first of the night. Eccles is trying to guard Hakevichus. Big-time mismatch.
Great double by Charles Mann to get it out of his hands.
With 5 on the clock, nothing doing. And Jurisic, who we got? It's either Carrera or Jurisic. Oh, we're going to get a 3-second call to bail the officials out of it.
Well, he's holding up 3 fingers. Not sure.
We don't have a number 3 on the floor.
Right, I'm sure.
They just put up a shot. Couldn't have been 3. Three on the shot clock was the call. We never got a foul call. Corner 3-0. Kaichenis tips it in.
I tell you what, great job of getting to the weak side position on the backboard by Kaichenis to tip in the miss. Great hustle play by Kaichenis.
Back to a double-figure lead.
South Carolina stays in the zone, 1-2-2. Thornwell on the point.
Man in traffic, yes!
Charles Mann is a 6'4" bull of a point guard, uses his strength to draw the contact, put it on the backboard, draw the foul, and get to the free throw line. Show your muscles, Charles. You deserve that nice hustle play.
And he has muscled Sindarius Thornwell all the way to the bench with his 4th personal foul. 4th consecutive game into double figures for Mann. He's got 14. Crowd back into it at Stegman. South Carolina has made just one of its last 7 field goals, making 1 of 8. A foul after the offensive rebound as Steele crashed the glass.
How about Steele running in from the perimeter to get that offensive rebound? Just a tremendous hustle play by the former walk-on Brian Steele out of Greenville, South Carolina.
Second personal on Mann. Fresh 35. Thornton got a hand on it. It will stay with South Carolina. Well, Mark Fox is pulling out all the stops of this lineup. He's got Kessler on the floor now. Eccles still playing. It's a bit of a hodgepodge of a lineup, but that's the hand he's been dealt. And so much on the line for Georgia tonight. Hakevicius left it short. Wow, ripped down by Eccles.
The walk-ons are rebounding, crashing the glass. Eccles and Steele, you gotta love it.
Stripped by Steele, a heads-up play going under Thornton's screen. South Carolina just won for the last 9.
South Carolina back man-to-man. Much better defense, especially with Charles Mann out of the game for Georgia.
Steele's playing inspired tonight. Trying to get in the way of Forte. Thornton for 3. Woefully short. He is out of sorts tonight. And you wonder who's going to have the gas left late. Blocked from behind by Gaines. And still a bucket for Kaichenis.
Kaichenis is Mr. Hustle. He is all over the floor, getting to the offensive board position to get loose rebounds and get them back in the goal.
This is a game for Georgia, especially after their inexplicable loss to Auburn on Saturday. They're up 9 with 5 to go. Let that one get away. This is one they cannot afford to do so. It's one of those games, Joe, that if you win, nobody looks twice. If you lose, everybody stares at it on Selection Sunday.
Well, you can kind of justify the Auburn loss a little bit because of injuries and situations, but to lose to Auburn and South Carolina, both in the lower end of the conference, back-to-back on your home floor, would not be acceptable.
And remember, this would be their second loss against South Carolina this season. For an SEC, which is much improved. In fact, Joe Lunardi has 6 teams in the tournament right now. Georgia currently an 8 seed. A loss here tonight, you assume, and he'll be hard at work crunching the numbers later tonight. This could drop Mark Fox's team all the way to the bubble.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. A loss tonight would put him on the bubble. Of course, you saw the 11th seed by Joe Lunardi, Texas A&M and LSU. They will play right after us here tonight in College Station. Big game.
South Carolina's getting to the 50-50 balls, and now they're running. Left short. Frank Martin's wondering where the foul was. Notice ended up under the backboard. Forte, no. Tipped by Gaines.
Great hustle play by Kenny Gaines to run the floor and tip that loose layup back into the net. Georgia defense has been much better this second half.
Johnson with the left. His first bucket of the second half.
Johnson's tough. Transfer from Villanova. Was injured last year, missed the second half of the season with a knee injury, and of course back now, one of the key components for Frank Martin's team.
The South Carolina lead was 18 at the half. They went on a nice little run to get to within 10. But South Carolina has been answering. Shot clock at 4. Thornton on the glass. Got it. First field goal for Marcus Thornton with 9:14 to go. Carrera in and out. That was a quick shot for a South Carolina team playing with the lead.
That's a tough one because you're wide open, and Carrera can make that shot, but nobody on the offensive board's a little bit quick there.
Man nearly walked with it. Here's Gaines, contested with 2. Late in the shot clock, Georgia hasn't been getting great looks, as you would expect from a South Carolina team. Been playing great defense all year.
Frank Martin slowing his team down. Wants them just to kind of catch their breath right here. The pace has been frenetic on both ends. A lot at stake, as you've mentioned, Tom, tonight for the Georgia Bulldogs. And South Carolina, having already beaten Georgia earlier, they'd like to pull an upset on the road here.
Notice for 3. Too strong. Forte has it. South Carolina guys still trying to catch their breath. Tyrone Johnson had his hands above his head in the corner. He is beat right now. Forte. Short. Offensive rebound again. Jurisic that time.
These guys are tired right now. They need a break bad.
It's been like long volleys in tennis in between media timeouts. Gaines whips it to Thornton, and he'll get a trip to the line. It came with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia coming up with big plays in the second half.
Yeah, and so Georgia trying to make the comeback, and Taylor Eccles plays a little string music in Athens.
Left and passes it to Smith. Smith makes a move to the corner. He's cut off to the lane. He's looking. He finds James Slice in the basket. James shoots. Misses. It's tipped back. Ball's loose. Allen picks it up. 2 defenders around him. Final seconds. Allen pump fakes. 3, 2. Throws up a desperation 3. Oh, it's good! It's good!
We're proud to be the official chicken of sports fans. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Thursday. The Commodores head to Gainesville to face 3-point specialist Carly Needles and the Gators.
She'll shoot again, and she'll make it.
Then, the number 2 Gamecocks, undefeated in conference play.
Tiffany Mitchell, she's the reigning SEC Player of the Year.
Take on the Razorbacks, led by the SEC leading scorer, Kelsey Brooks. Vanderbilt, Florida at 7, South Carolina, Arkansas at 9. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Thursday, only on the SEC ESPN Network.
Attention, Dish customers. Do you live in a small town or even out in the country? Now you can finally get fast, high-speed internet where you live with DishNet.
For the first time, I can check my emails, even from out here.
And I can do my homework online right here.
I can get all the parts I need online, even way out here.
With DishNet high-speed internet, you can get speeds as fast as 4G where you live. It's the high-speed internet you've been waiting for.
Now I can see my grandkids anytime online from way out here. It's the high-speed internet I've been waiting for.
And right now, if you bundle DishNet with your Dish TV service, you'll save an extra $10 a month.
I have a bundle, and I love the convenience of saving time and money.
You already get the great value of Dish TV, so call now to bundle with DishNet high-speed internet, all on one convenient bill. Get the high-speed internet you've been waiting for where you live.
We live out in the middle of nowhere, and DishNet is the high-speed internet we've been waiting for.
Call the number on your screen now to save $10 per month and get high-speed internet where you live with DishNet.
Georgia has worked its way back into this game thanks to outscoring South Carolina 20-10 since the intermission. First half, they had 23 points in the first 20 minutes, and now already 20 points on 8 of 18 shooting. Perhaps, Joe, just as big a story has been their defense.
The defense has been the point of emphasis at halftime by Mark Fox, and giving up 7 of 13 from three-point range to the Gamecocks in the first half. Already here in the second, South Carolina 0 for 6, not getting the same easy looks outside against the Georgia defense.
And it seems like South Carolina has taken some ill-advised quick shots in the second half.
They have, a little bit early in the possession.
Thornton wills that one through. He's got 5. Team leading 12.5 points per game for Mark Fox's squad. Balanced attack all season long. 5 starters in double figures. They haven't had that since Dominique Wilkins was a freshman. 6 now for Thornton.
We got a ball game now. 18-point halftime deficit. South Carolina maybe played their best half of the year in the first half, but Georgia has roared back. They are man-to-man here.
Remember, South Carolina blew a big lead at Vandy. They were up 12 in the second half. Vandy closed on an 18-0 run. It's happened before. Notice floater falls away, and it's ripped down by Kenny Paulgino. Notice had 12 in the first half. He has yet to score in the second. Georgia's hit 3 of 7 threes in the second half. They can make it a 1-possession game with a triple here. Shot clock at 5. Man long 2. Maton and the follow tip. First bucket for Gino. Steal for 3 early in the clock.
Contested 3. Not a good decision by Brian Steele on that shot. Georgia, the momentum has totally switched in favor of the Bulldogs.
Jurisic cut off, steps through, got it! 2-point game, 5.5 to go. Frank Martin can't wait. Timeout, Carolina.
Great job of stopping, reversing, and doing the up and under move. Nimi Jurisic, the Montenegro Express, getting it done.
It's an 8-0 run for the Bulldogs over the last 3:44. And it's like Joe Dean, these guys switched uniforms in the locker room.
They did. You got to give a lot of credit to Mark Fox, making the adjustments at halftime, emphasizing the defensive end of the floor. That's where it starts. They have totally shut down the South Carolina 3-point game. 0 threes in the second half for the Gamecocks, as opposed to the 7 they made in the first. And then offensively, getting it to Thornton, getting to the offensive boards, and that time Nimi Jurisic with a beautiful move inside.
Kids sometimes fall into that trap of fool's gold. 7 of 20 from deep in the first half. Not a great shooting team on the season. 0 for 7 in the second half. Is that a mindset?
A little bit of a mindset. I think you have a tendency to relax a little bit when things go so easy as it did for South Carolina in the second half. But you should know that Georgia at home is going to fight back and claw back down that many points.
Cox led by 21 in the first half. 18 at the half. Now we've got a 1-possession game. Mismatch, Johnson guarded by Jurisic. Where's the other mismatch? Hakevicius dumped it inside. There it is. Kaitchenis, though, too strong. Frank Martin hasn't gotten one single whistle in the second half, according to him.
Yeah, he thought Kaitchenis got bumped down low on that high-low play from Hakevicius down to the baseline, but no call. Roger Ayers shook his head at Frank Martin and said, no, there was no contact, coach. That was the communication.
Gaines. Boy, Georgia all over the offensive glass. And a foul after the second effort. They're still not shooting the ball well, but the effort is there for Georgia. 4.5 to go in this barn burner from Stegner.
A normal incandescent bulb uses about $7 worth of energy per year. This Cree LED bulb uses about $1. If you argue with math, you will lose.
The Cree LED bulb. Introducing the State Farm National Bureau of Assists. Sebastian Curry, twin of Stephen Curry, has a master's in disasters. Summer Bird, twin of Sue Bird, stops at nothing except stoplights. Darius Lillard, twin of Damian Lillard, says there's no I in assist. Don Stockton, twin of John Stockton, Chief Assist Officer. And of course, Cliff Paul, assisting has a new starting 5.
Every day brings something new at Outlook.com. And no matter what day of the week, we've got you covered. Check out the latest looks at the touch of your fingertips and get it all delivered right to your door. Find the right style for any situation at Outlook.
Stay 2 separate times and choose your reward. Plus, always enjoy breakfast and free high-speed internet when you stay at Best Western, Best Western Plus, or Best Western Premier. Book now at bestwestern.com.
51-49, South Carolina holding on for dear life with 4.5 to go here in Athens. Wednesday, 2 of the SEC's hottest shooting teams go head-to-head as the Vanderbilt Commodores head to the O-Dome to take on the Florida Gators at 7 p.m. Then Mizzou will head down to Fayetteville to take on the high-octane Arkansas Razorbacks offense at 9. SEC Hoops doubleheader begins at 7 p.m. exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and Watch ESPN. Speaking of which, Bobby Portis and Willie Cauley-Stein, finalists for the John R. Wooden Award. Late season top 20 candidates, I should say. Portis has given Arkansas nearly 18 points and 8 boards a game. And Stein's doing all that, playing, what, 25 minutes a game?
Yeah, about. And, Tom, I think right now the odds-on favorite for the SEC Player of the Year is probably Bobby Portis from Arkansas. I think you could make a case for Jordan Mickey at LSU. One of the top shot blockers in the nation, has great scoring and rebounding numbers like Portis does. But Portis having a tremendous year. Arkansas second in the league right now to Kentucky.
This may come down to a free throw shooting contest as Jonte Mayton, the freshman from Pontiac, Michigan, hits the first.
We talk about the difference between first half and second half. Georgia was down 5 on the boards at halftime. They have out-rebounded South Carolina in the second half, 22-10.
We're tied for just the second time tonight. And this is the first time since we traded buckets to start the game. Mayton commits his second personal foul. 4th team foul on Georgia. South Carolina's committed 5. So we're still a few whistles away from the bonus. Gaines took a shot on that inbounds pass stolen away by Georgia. And Kenny Gaines seeing cobwebs as he comes up the floor. Georgia looking for its first lead of the game. Man, lost it. Saved by Kaichenis. Pushed by Johnson. And now Thornwell short. Kaichenis is there.
He's been all over the backboard in the second half. Has Kaichenis finding position in the open areas to get 3 putbacks on the offensive board.
On the pick and roll. A foul will put Kenny Paulgino at the free throw line. If that's on Thornwell, it's his 5th. Big story developing in Athens with Georgia on the ropes with 3:23 remaining. SEC Network Basketball is presented by Cree LED Lighting.
Dad, like, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through. This is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Really?
Their claim experience is...
Fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, money back.
Sarah! Come to prom with me!
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Official retail department store of the SEC.
I need fans put up. I need lights put up. Who's going to do that?
Now there's HomeAdvisor.com, a free service that matches your home project with top local service professionals.
We got everything from Home Advisor. Electricians, plumbers, handymen.
You get to read the customer reviews of all of your neighbors.
And you know that the companies that are on there have already been screened, and so you already have that confidence going in.
And Home Advisor is always free. Go to HomeAdvisor.com now.
Welcome back to Athens. Tom Harwood, Joe Dean Jr. We've got 3:23 to go as Georgia tries to avoid a season sweep to the hands of South Carolina. A South Carolina team which in the first half got 23 points from Tyrone Johnson and Dwayne. Notice they hit 5 of 6 from deep. In the second half, they've come back down to earth, just 1 for 11 shooting. And South Carolina as a team, 0 for 7 from behind the arc.
Well, those numbers tell the story. The rebounding as well. Only 4 offensive rebounds in the first half for Georgia. Here in the second half, they have 10, and they're going to the line again off an offensive rebound opportunity by Kenny Paul-Gino.
So Kenny Paul-Gino, who's playing in his first SEC game since the opener against Arkansas, when he injured his left wrist, goes to the free throw line. Georgia, one of the most successful teams in the SEC in getting to the line.
Kenny Paul-Gino is a sophomore, 6'6" from Boonville, Mississippi. Coming to Athens.
Nothing doing. And Kitchenis has the rebound for South Carolina. South Carolina has yet to trail in this game. Here's Johnson.
And a mismatch inside. There it is. Good job by Thornton.
Akevicius, baby hook, no. Save on the baseline, another offensive rebound, and Johnson got it! Tyrone Johnson with his first 3 of the second half. South Carolina back up by 5.
Give credit to Mendagas Kitchenis for the offensive rebound to kick it out for the 3 by Johnson.
Thornton will go to the free throw line after the foul on Hakevicius.
Yeah, on the miss. Watch Kitchenis get inside. Great hustle play. The pass out by Thornwell, and Tyrone Johnson with a big 3 for the Gamecocks. Nothing but nylon.
And so here's Thornton. He's done most of his damage from the free throw line tonight. Seven points for Marcus Thornton. And his 8th. Makes it a 1-possession game again. 2:37 to go. Get the feeling, Joe, watching the last 5 minutes of this game, it will be decided based on who can keep the other offensive team off the glass.
I think you're exactly right. Offensive rebounding, holding your opponent to 1 shot, and keeping your opponent off the foul line.
Akevicius loves it on the left block. The double shown. Thornwell slices through. And that was knocked out of bounds by Georgia. It will go to South Carolina. Frank Martin saw the same thing I did.
They're going to get an overrule.
Anthony Jordan had a good look at it.
Yeah. Good job of officiating. Anthony Jordan came in and made the right call. Ball's on the glass. Yeah. Nemi Jurisic knocked that ball out of bounds. That's a good job by the officiating crew here to get that right.
6 seconds on the shot clock for Carolina. Great defense on the inbounds. Shot clock at 3. I don't think South Carolina knows. Johnson heaves. Another offensive rebound, and Notice will go to the line with 1:58 to go.
Kenny Gaines was inside for the rebound, but just got off balance when he went up. As the ball hits high off the rim, he is up and coming down. He says that Notice pushed him in the back. That was a no call. What a big rebound by Dwayne Notice right here to jump in and draw that foul.
Been a while since South Carolina has been to the free throw line. No attempts at 4 minutes to go, and Notice hits the first. That's his first point in the second half.
Yeah, they've shut him down. He's been a little streaky offensively. I mean, there's a reason South Carolina's 3-9 in the league, and one of the reasons is they've been inconsistent offensively all year.
Georgia expended so much energy fighting back from an 18-point halftime deficit. They have shots left in them. Gaines has it swatted. Now Mann rolls it in. 16 for Charles Mann.
Dogs need to stop right here.
Timeout, Frank Martin.
Charles Mann, 6'4", very strong and physical as a point guard. Can get inside athletically, use the backboard, get it in. We've already mentioned how many times he gets to the free throw line, as many as any player in the league. Led the league actually last year in that category.
In the second half, South Carolina is shooting 22% and 11% from deep. Georgia is shooting nearly 41% and 38% from deep. Foul trouble existing for the Gamecocks. Thornwell has 4. Hakevich is with 3. Kaichin is with 3. Georgia's been in foul trouble since the get-go. Jurisic sat the final 13 minutes of the first half. He still has 3, and Marcus Thornton has 3.
Always interesting to see when the leading team calls a timeout in this situation with 1:32 to go, what Frank Martin is going to dial up offensively. Big offensive possession for his team. A 2 or a 3 gives them a very comfortable lead going into the last minute of the game. So you see the diagram board right there. He's drawn it up. We'll see what it is.
Well, who do you expect that they would want to go to here?
Well, you know, I think they'd love to try to go inside out. So we'll see if they try to look for Hakevich inside. If he gets doubled, look to throw it back out for a three-point shot by Johnson, Notice, or Sindarius Thornwell.
They missed the first 8 threes of the second half before they hit one a moment ago. Hakevich on the left block again. Well, he's winded. Carolina running the read to take some time off the clock. Shot clock at 9. Here they go. Notice, ball fake. Mann contests. He hit it right over the top of Mann. It's a 3 for Notice. They'll take another look to make sure his toe wasn't on the line. As soon as they get a dead ball, they'll look at it. Mann in the paint, dumps, and the dunk. Forte with the jam. Now they'll get a chance to go back to the monitor and look at that last jumper and whether it was a 2 or a 3 for Notice.
Frank Martin set up a spread offense for the last shot of the possession there, and Thornwell got inside on the dribble. And then there you see, Notice the step back. It looks like his right foot is barely behind the three-point line.
You know what? The difference between a size 13 or a size 12 could be the difference in Georgia going to the postseason or not.
Can't tell from that shot right there. We've got to look at from overhead to see where his right foot was, his right big toe, really, to see if we can. All right, here's the step back. I think he's behind the line right there. You can't tell definitively, and if you can't tell definitively, you've got to go with the call on the floor.
Anthony Jordan and Jeff Anderson both had clean looks when it was let go, and then Jordan, on his way down the court, made sure the scores table knew that they would come back and look at it as soon as they got a whistle. They didn't want to interrupt play, but late in the game, they don't wait until a timeout to take a look, obviously, when it could have a bearing on the score and what plays might be run down the stretch. As of now, it's a 4-point South Carolina lead. They didn't get a good look at the monitors on the other side, so our crew can blow it up a little bit.
That's the best we got. The officials are over. Jeff Anderson, the official's over here looking at it right now, and he's looking at the one shot that we all have seen at home with Notice's right toe. And it's just hard to tell definitively right there. He'll make the decision. Okay, he's
still a three.
Jeff Anderson says it's still going to be a three-point shot. And it looked like it, but again, you couldn't tell definitively exactly where that toe was. So in that case, the call on the floor wins the day.
Joe, there's so much on the line for Georgia in this game. They're trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2011. A loss here doesn't knock them out, but it's another bad loss for Mark Fox and takes them from what is now an 8 seed at least to the bubble.
I don't think
nobody wants to live on the bubble.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Tom, and especially with the fact that Georgia has to go on the road the next 2 games.
They also have Kentucky left on the schedule. A foul 45 feet from the bucket will be the second on Kenny Gaines.
Tough call for Georgia there. Looked like a great trap right out front by Gaines. South Carolina still not in the bonus yet. It's only the 16th foul. Next time Georgia fouls, Carolina will go to the line for 1-and-1.
Carolina's second best free throw shooting team in the SEC. This is Notice, put it on the ground, picked it back up. Kaichenis. Hakevicius may have gotten away with a push-off. South Carolina holding up 4.
Got a foul.
Finally, Forte gets to Johnson.
Johnson wanted the foul. He's an 85% free throw shooter on the season is Tyrone Johnson, the 6'3" senior from Plainfield, New Jersey. It's a push-off right there. That's a tough miss right there for the Bulldogs. Kevicius with that extended left arm got that offensive rebound.
Tyrone Johnson, second best free throw shooter in the SEC. He hit a big 3, and now from the free throw line. Five-point deficit. Georgia doesn't have much time. Man wanting a trip to the line. He gets it. It stops the clock with 17.4 left. That's the 5th on Thornwell. He's done. And that will be an issue if we head to an extra period. So Thornwell heads to the bench. Frank Martin's got 60 seconds to replace him. And Frank Martin wants to check with the official scoring and make sure. They can go back and look at something here. I don't know exactly what they're looking at.
I think Frank Martin is questioning who the foul was called on. Obviously, he doesn't want Thornwell out of the game. And Thornwell does not think he fouled there, that he should have been on another Gamecock.
They changed it. And Dwayne Notice. I don't mean to say they changed it. They may have meant to signal 10 at the beginning. We're not sure. But it's the 3rd on Notice, and Thornwell's still in.
That's a break for South Carolina, especially if this game were to go into overtime.
Now man at the free throw line. 17 for Charles Mann. Tip out. Gaines has it. 15 seconds to go. 4-point deficit. It's a 2-possession game still. Georgia doesn't have time to mess around. Thornton spins with 5, and he gets a trip to the line. Kaichenis with his 4th foul. They got the offensive rebound, but they didn't take it back up.
Exactly. Great effort right there by Georgia to maintain possession. But South Carolina did a great job defensively out of that rebound to prevent any good looks and get the clock down to 4.8.
Big picture for Georgia. They're coming off of a bad loss to Auburn. This would be their second consecutive bad loss in that last row. Georgia Tech, once at Columbia, and then Auburn. Big wins in the non-conference. Ole Miss and Texas A&M in conference, projected right now by Joe Lunardi as an 8 seed. And that number's going to plummet if they can't pull off a miracle here tonight.
I agree. This back-to-back losses to Auburn and South Carolina on your home floor, it is not going to impress the selection committee. They have to go to Alabama on Saturday. Next week they have to go to Ole Miss, one of the better teams in the league right now. Tough road right now for Georgia with all the injuries, and the loss of J.J. Frazier, I think, has had a bigger impact maybe than a lot of people realize.
They beat Seton Hall, they beat Colorado, they beat Kansas State. Thornton at the free throw line, down 4. You had to make the first to set something up for the second.
Yeah, Mark Fox just told Thornton to make this shot. They obviously would try to steal the inbounds, shoot a quick 3 or foul, give themselves one more chance. They pretty much did it right there.
Joe, Georgia down the stretch in the last 4 minutes and 31 seconds, just 5 of 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah. And again, going down the stretch, you got to make the foul shots. Mark Fox right there. Philip Pearson is top assistant to his left. Just very, very tough night here. Let's give South Carolina a lot of credit. They lost twice last year to Georgia. They've returned the favor here this year by sweeping the Bulldogs. Last game, of course, Marcus Thornton didn't play in Columbia. Tonight, J.J. Frazier doesn't play for Georgia. And, of course, South Carolina had some guys out as well.
South Carolina led by 21 in the first half. They hold off that pesky Georgia team to sweep the season series. In the 104th meeting, South Carolina may have knocked Georgia straight to the bubble or worse. A 6-point win for Frank Martin's South Carolina Gamecocks. You get the feeling in the first 20 minutes, South Carolina didn't realize they were that good. Georgia didn't realize they were that good. It was too big a hole to climb out of for the Georgia Bulldogs. We've got more coming your way from Athens, but first, let's take you back to the studio. Peter Burns to wrap this one up after a 64-58 Gamecock win.
All right, thanks, Tom. Crazy down there in Athens. Hopefully have as good of a game in College Station. Jarrell Martin, 16 points a game. Only 9 points against Tennessee, but it didn't matter. LSU handled the Vols quite easily, 73-55. And Daniel House, important for the Aggies to get this guy going as well.
He really is. This is a guy now that has fit in with this system. He's the guy they look to as their go-to guy. He's got to score a lot tonight for them to have a chance.
He had 14 points against Florida, so both of those teams, LSU and A&M, on the bubble. We'll get you up to that game in about 6-7 minutes. But first, Will, let's talk about what happened in Athens. Now, back-to-back bad losses for the Georgia Bulldogs.
And both at home. And it's very surprising. They're in a situation now where they go from a 7 to 8 seed to possibly, on the bubble. A team that now pretty much would have to win out in the SEC, or at least win majority of their games, and then do some serious damage in the SEC tournament to lock themselves in the NCAA.
Very good job by Frank Martin and his squad to get them going back, even though it got a little bit closer than Frank Martin probably liked in that second half.
Well, it really did. I mean, listen, one of the things that Frank Martin has talked about is for them, it's whether they hit shots or not. Well, in the first half, they shoot 55%. In the second half, they shoot 27% and almost lose this game. But their defense helps them win the game and their ability to pick up some offensive rebounds late.
Let's head back to Athens right now with Tom Hart and Joe Dean Jr.
All right, guys, thanks. We're with South Carolina head coach Frank Martin. 64-58 is the final score. I think, Coach, the tone of this game was set on the very first defensive possession. You guys forced a 5-second call. And the defensive intensity in the first half, was that as big an impact for you as it seemed for us?
Yeah, I told you guys earlier today the Kentucky thing was just an aberration for us. We just had no fight. We've had fight the majority of the year. We had fight today. Defense is kind of what I like to take pride in. I want our guys to take pride in it. And just so proud of our guys to go on the road, especially after our last performance, and stay the course and figure this out.
Frank, what was the key down the stretch? Of course, you totally outplayed Georgia in the first half, up 18, and they just roared back and tied the game. But your guys, I thought Kaicha just made some big plays. What was the key down the stretch for your guys?
Joe, I knew. I told the guys. I said, yo, this is a good basketball team we're playing here, and they got seniors, they got guys that they're going to come at you now. And we were kind of just holding on for dear life. And then we made a couple shots coming down the stretch. And, we didn't play as well defensively for the first 12 minutes of the second half. But then we kind of buckled in, started guarding better. And, Notice makes that step-back three. We were trying to drive the ball.
Right.
And Sindarius didn't see it, threw it to Dwayne. Heck, as many easy shots as we've missed over the last 5-6 weeks, thank the Lord for letting one go in.
Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of easy for you in conference play. You guys come out in the first half, you hit 7 threes. Did you sense that you guys had some confidence on the offensive end?
Yeah, we're not as bad shooting as we've been. The problem is that you don't have a day against an opponent in the league where you get open, easy shots. Everything's so contested, so difficult that some of our guys have been a little rattled. What I liked the most about today, we were aggressive. When we had guys that got shots and they were open, they let it go, and we shot it with confidence, and, ball went in for us in the first half.
Well, it was a great win for your South Carolina team. I thought Hakevich just early on kind of set the tone by getting some touches inside.
Yeah, Lamonis, it's my challenge with him is always to be active. Be active. Don't just stand around. Be active. He gave us a presence offensively in the low post. He can do that for us. And he tried to be active on the defensive side. Still doesn't rebound the ball the way he's capable of, but he's gotten so much better. I've got to stay patient with him and allow it to keep coming.
Well, the defense was sensational. A season sweep for South Carolina over this Georgia team.